is very fucking tight, no description. The
I'm gonna beat
script
him with
for
one
this
button.
22-page comic book, I guarantee you, if I remember correctly, was 60 pages. Because in order to get to 22 pages, which, you know, has, let's say, minimum 6 panels per page on each page, in order to get there, the good folks, the couple Dodson, Terry was the artist and Rachel was the inker and stuff. The Dodsons had to draw a fuck ton of shit, but since they didn't write it, since they're not me, they don't fucking know what's supposed to happen. So I couldn't just write, you know, panel 1, Spider-Man, Black Cat, and then a bunch of dialogue. You have to say, you know, panel 1, they're in a room. The room is this size. There's a credenza over there. You have to literally describe everything you want to see, because you can't then, like, when they show you some art, you're like, what the fuck, where's the credenza? And they're like, credenza? Like, who even uses that anymore? You know, so it's the same thing with animation. You really have to over-describe shit, you know, in just knowing that it's gonna leave your hands and go into the hands of people that you're not gonna be standing next to be like, oh, when I wrote that 6 months ago, I meant this. You know, they're gonna do with it what they will instead. So you got to be very detail oriented, and which is a real bitch because again, I can't talk about specifics, but for me, I'd rather put as little description in as possible so I can keep as much dialogue as possible. And you know, this is a show that's going to have a lot of fucking fighty in it as well, so you got to leave space for that. But at the same time, it is a show about relationships, and so there's a fuck ton of, you know, dialogue and whatnot. You got to find a balance. And for the length that, fuck, I'm gonna get in trouble. It's just tough, like, because you want to describe everything, but at the same time, you're like, fuck, that took up a quarter of a page, and that means I gotta lose some dialogue in the story, but I don't want to lose dialogue because the page count is very fucking tight. You can't go over it. It can't be like sloppy. Come see, come saw. Has to be very tight because the animators are like, if we're gonna hit the fucking schedules, this is how it works. Like, welcome to our world and shit. Like, you writers are wonderful, thank you for your words, but the real work begins now, you know. And then they go to work.
No, I really like writing action scenes. Like, I have the most fun doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the shit I can't stand the most, man. That's I mean, I talked about it when we did the panel. Like, the Powerhouse folks, like Brad and co, the guys who were animating it, they did Castlevania. They were like, look, don't go crazy describing your fights, man. Like, you know, unless there's action very specific to your plot, like he punches him in the eye and it's the eye that he put in there before and it pops and fucking, you know, the world explodes. He goes, unless, and that's not in the script, it'll be better than that. If you don't need action specific beats, they said just write fighty fight and we'll take care of the rest. So they're like, just have them speak and do all the dialogue you need to, and then tell us who it is, which, you know, people are pairing off, who's in the scene, but then write fighty, and that's what we're here to do. We're here to fucking bring it to vibrant life and shit. And that made me feel good, because I'm like, I fucking hate writing action. I'm lazy by nature. You just made an easy job even easier. Thank you so much.
And it broke my fucking heart.
Really?
I love that shit. I love, like, the Rube Goldberg nature of, like, just building a fight scene that makes sense, because fight scenes, when they're shitty, they're just people punching each other in the face, and that's still kind of fun. But when they're great, it's part of the narrative, right? Like, you think about a Jackie Chan fight scene. Like, there's full story freight that's being delivered to the audience in those fight scenes. And in fucking Rocky, there's nothing but. Like, if you tell me that I'm gonna do the last fight in Creed and I just get to write fighty, and I don't get to write, like, oh no, he punches, he falls down, he's